Hello, your friendly neighborhood host, JT Wheatley here again, back for another episode of The Classics, as I'm still working on my season break. But rest assured, I got a few more episodes to put in the can that will be launching here pretty soon. But till then, we're going to be approaching a new classic. Since I've been talking about this film for the last few episodes, I figured let's go ahead and take another look at it, and that is, of course, The Dark Knight movie, which is to date is still the best live-action movie of a comic book adaptation ever made. I used to say best comic book adaptation, but Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse has been really challenging that belief, too, because that's just a brilliant comic movie through and through. And thankfully, it was the first one to win the best animated picture. Granted, it was this animated picture, should have been best picture as far as I'm concerned. That was the best film of 2018. And quite frankly, The Dark Knight, though, was the best film of 2008. Just a brilliant sequel to Batman Begins, which was a good, very solid reboot of the franchise that really set the stage for this film. And, of course, the hallmark is the late, great Heath Ledger's brilliant performance as the Joker, who just steals the show. He's just chaos, force nature personified. He doesn't do what Jack Nicholson did. He did something different, but his Joker is still completely recognizable. I mean, he dresses the same. He looks a little different, but you see him and you just see the Joker. And even like little minutes, like when he's dressed as a nurse and walking out the hospital, you just find yourself laughing. I mean, he's the kind of character you're laughing at because you're so scared of him, but he's so compelling and brilliant and rich. And he richly deserved, even after he sadly passed away, after finished filming, he deserved winning the Best Supporting Actor Oscar. It is a truly timeless performance that holds up to this day, as does the rest of the movie. I mean, you have Kristen Bell giving another great performance as Bruce Wayne, and yes, his voice is a little wonky this time for Batman, but interesting thing, when you're watching the film, you never notice it. It's only after the film you go like, oh wait, that voice is a little weird. But when you're watching the film, you're just enraptured because Christopher Nolan and his writing partners, David Goyer, and also his brother Jonathan Nolan, just write a brilliant film. This is a film that is very much a Batman film. It's got all the hallmarks: Commissioner Gordon, the politics of Batman, the Batmobile, the cool new adventures. But it's kind of realistic. It's like a crime noir film with superheroes in it. And that's what makes it so brilliant. And it's a film that challenges your subject. Like, what do you do when you have a villain that's unstoppable? Do you break laws? Do you go over civil liberties? I mean, how far are you willing to go to beat a true madman? And it's a story that's another story that really holds up. It's a classic tale. Like, what is Batman forced to do? And he really gets forced into a box too. And this really is a Batman story as much as a Joker story, because the Joker makes Batman react in ways he's not used to. You know, as the great, brilliant Michael Caine as Alfred points out, that the mob went to a guy they fully understand, and some people just want to see the world burn. And man, the Joker's so good, and Heath Ledger is like, he is missed. And watching his performance, it almost makes you mad because you see an actor at the peak of his abilities, and I was so excited to see what he's going to do after this, but you realize, oh no, that's his last performance. Now, naturally, his first thoughts, of course, have to go to his family. He had a young daughter who's still alive with his fiance and so forth. But Heath Ledger, what a great performance to end on. Just brilliant from beginning to end, well-deserving of his Oscar. And great cast all around. I mean, like I said, Michael Caine as Alfred, brilliant. Oh, and of course, Gary Oldman, who, personal note, my all-time favorite actor, is the best live-action Commissioner Gordon, if not the best Commissioner Gordon ever depicted. Almost even better than the Batman animated series. And I usually think that show got Batman better at everything, but his Gordon's so good, a real human character. His final scene at the end is so brilliant. Of course, you have Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent, and once you hear that name, you know where that's going. Try not to be spoiler in it, even though it's a 10-year-old movie, but just brilliant from beginning to end. Genius action, the perfect mixture of like live action and CGI, and just has you gripped from beginning to end. Because not just because of the action, because like how far is Batman willing to go to take down this monster, the Joker? Just genius, and he's so compelling. And it's like, yeah, and everything's about it. And I've also heard weird complaints that the editing's not that good, though oddly enough, this movie got nominated for Best Film Editing in 2009. But, hey, and it did one for Best Sound Editing, but you do something like good editing is the kind you don't notice. And when you're watching this film, you never notice it. You just notice this brilliantly written movie, directed, acted, shot, everything across the board. This is like almost a perfect film. I mean, it's so good that the flaws, and of course there are flaws in all movies, the flaws just sanded over by how great this movie is. And it's truly, like I said, best live action movie of a comic book adaptation ever made. And quite frankly, still the best film of 2008. And even when they didn't get nominated for Best Picture by the Academy Awards, they changed the rules the very next year to start including more movies. But no, that wasn't the solution. Academy, start nominating these great films that they should be nominated from the get-go. You should be nominating Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse and Mad Max Fury Road. Don't just expand the palette. Just say no. I mean, go back and look at the movies that were nominated in 2008, like The Reader, Slumdog Millionaire was one. Please. No one remembers those movies. Everyone remembers The Dark Knight because it's a true classic, and classics never age. And that's my episode of Classics this week. Until then, go see you next week. And of course, go out and watch The Dark Knight again. That's a true classic. And now is August 1st, 2019. Time for the favorite comic book of the week. Batman, Curse of the White Knight, which is the sequel to the now classic Batman White Knight miniseries from last year by Sean Murphy with Matt Hollingsworth that follows up the events of when Jack Napier in White Knight, the Joker's other alter ego, became the hero of Gotham and helped clean it up. But once he reverted back to the Joker, in this series, it looks like the Joker is about to clean up the mess his alter ego made. Meanwhile, Batman and Batgirl and Nightwing are debating how to proceed in Gotham, as Batman now believes he's been worse for Gotham than he ever thought, mainly due to Jack Napier. Just a great series, beautiful writing and art by Sean Murphy. And my favorite thing, and it's not really a spoiler because he's on one of the covers, but one of my favorite characters from the Batman mythos, Azrael, is back. I've always loved this character. He's a superhero who's also a man of faith, and being a man of faith myself, I always appreciate seeing that. But he's just a cool hero in general. I mean, he looks awesome. He's got a flaming sword, for goodness sakes, and a red cape. How cool is that? And I love it. And like I said, Batman White Knight was easily one of the best Batman stories in comics last year or so ago. And seeing this sequel, it looks to be just as great. So can't wait to see where this goes. And it was a heavy Batman pull this year because I also picked up Batman Last Night on Earth #2 and the conclusion of The Batman Who Laughs. But this one I like the best because I like where this one's going. The other two are good, worth picking up. But Batman Curse of the White Knight, #1, definitely pick it up. And with that, we'll be concluding for this week. But join me again next week when we'll probably have another Classics episode. But till then, go out and enjoy yourself a good comic book. And of course, go rewatch The Dark Knight. That is a true classic.